This is tech genius Sam Altman. Well, in 2015, you can see him. He founded a not-for-profit company called OpenAI for the advancement of safe and beneficial artificial general intelligence, along with a host of other top researchers and the likes of Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and Infosys. Sam Altman led OpenAI from a non-profit organization to a juggernaut of artificial intelligence. Some days ago, OpenAI's board of directors announced the decision of Altman's departure and booted the co-founder and president, Greg Brockman, from the board of directors. While this has kicked off a saga that has seemingly come to a conclusion of sorts, with Microsoft hiring Altman and his colleagues for a new advanced AI research team, it rings a bell of alarm for other countries looking to develop generative AI capabilities. This is how the ruthless American capitalist machine regards one of the greatest technocrats of our time. What hope do any of us have in a world order dictated by Western sensibilities? Well, India should take note of what's happening with OpenAI and Sam Altman. It is time for India to develop an indigenous industry for generative AI. We'll get to understand what's going on over here and how India is poised to also become a hub for artificial intelligence. Joining us on the show to talk more about this is Dr. Sharat Kohli, Senior Economist, Wing Commander S. Sudhakaran, former Indian Air Force, Global Strategic Defense Expert and CEO of Q-Gates Technology, also with us on the program. Mr. Anshul Agarwal, AI expert, joins us on the program too. Last but not the least, Mr. Mithun Mohandas, Managing Editor and Head of Test Center Digit, joining us on the program too. Dr. Kohli, if you're there with us, I'd like to begin with you. Dr. Kohli?
Yes, I'm there.
Well, it's unfortunate what happened to Sam. He's been booted out of a company that he founded himself. But, the greater issue is that whoever is going to be holding this, huge chunk of the pie that we know as artificial intelligence is perhaps going to be ruling the roost when it comes to technologies and entrepreneurship and business in the future. How would you categorize India's advancement and India's involvement in today's age when it comes to artificial intelligence, and this overall scenario that has come about of top companies and top echelons of the corporate world going gaga over artificial intelligence?
Well, thanks, Vineet. I think generative AI is generative AI by definition, but AI itself is generating itself as an industry. We should keep that in mind, and it is developing and generating in a very rapid pace. This pace at which AI is catching up the entire industry is unimaginable. Which is why when you spoke about India, I feel I know at least a dozen startups, and in fact, coincidentally, I mentor those startups. They are based out of Bangalore and Gurgaon, and I mentor them, and the pace at which they are developing their technology, developing their own infrastructure, digital infrastructure, and the way they are roping in clients from different industries is absolutely mind-boggling. Coming to OpenAI, we all know, Sam Altman, of course, it's a very unfortunate incident that has happened. But the fact of the matter is that a financial prediction said that by 2024, OpenAI would go bankrupt because the average loss being incurred was about, I think, 5 crores a day if I convert it to Indian rupees. I mean, it wasn't able to muster the kind of revenue which was initially expected when Sam Altman had probably floated the company and when he had taken other co-founders with him. And as far as American corporate world goes, it's not very uncommon for the founder himself becoming an employee and one day being fired from the company which he once founded. That is I would call it as a beauty or the weird thing about American corporate world. You float a company and the company becomes big, and suddenly one fine day you find that you are a stranger for that company when you simply are like any other employee.
Exactly what happened in Facebook as well.
Exactly. So I think that is about American corporate politics, and that is about the way American corporates work. But I think from the inside information that I have, this is of course subject to confirmation. I don't have a confirmation, so I won't say it very authentically. But I can say that one of the reasons why Sam had to leave was because there was no clear direction as to how this OpenAI is going to come into profit, and the kind of investments that had gone in and the kind of technological research which had gone into this was only copied by others, whether it was Google, whether it was other tech giants, it was copied, and they developed their own AI platforms, which made a bigger threat for OpenAI. So I think all these combined together, and his joining Microsoft also has a common reason from what I just mentioned. One of the reasons was that Microsoft wants to very actively work and wants to capture the market of AI. And obviously they wanted this man to come and revolutionize the development of Microsoft as an AI giant. So that is the strategic move that Satya Nadella has taken, that he's quickly roped in the guy, that when we have the guy with us, I think we will be able to. But I think the biggest challenge before AI right now, Vineet, is AI is supportive for so many things, but generative AI independently has not been able to generate revenue. The moment, suppose, for example, if you use Chat GPT, and in Chat GPT, suppose they want to charge you, I'm told OpenAI is not sure that how many users will survive and what should be the basis of revenue. Do you charge them on a monthly subscription? Do you charge them an annual subscription? Do you charge them something what Twitter did or with Elon Musk did as far as verification of Twitter accounts are concerned, or Facebook did with verification of its accounts? How do you make people subscribe? Although there is a subscription-based model there, but they feel that to open up OpenAI for a purely paid-based model, they are not sure. And I think this is where most tech giants are confused right now. They are working, they are experimenting, they are trying as to how this independently generative AI can become a revenue. Of course, AI being applied to so many areas. So I personally feel India has got a very, very bright future, Vineet, because I'm personally mentoring them, so I know, and they have started generating revenue, and they are looking for a very, very bright future in the times to come, Vineet, as far as India is concerned.
Absolutely. Anshul, if you're there with us? Anshul, if you can hear me?
Yes.
Right. Anshul, first of all, your thoughts on what's going on over here, and as somebody who's a leader in the nascent space of artificial intelligence in India, how is this an opportunity for us to learn and be better at AI?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whatever is happening with Sam Altman, I personally believe, like Dr. Kohli mentioning, that it's a strategic move. Maybe there might have been some bit of information leakage that, OpenAI board might have got about Sam being in conversation with probably Satya Nadella, and that's when the board really understands, because we all know the value that Sam has really brought into an OpenAI. So I think I'm not going to go into detail of that, because that's their personal relationship that they share. Because I also, being an entrepreneur, being funded company, we understand, how investors and, what they bring to the board and the table. So I think that's something that's more of a personal connection that we need to maintain and not do things which are not very visible, right? See, even the investors, the board, they need transparency. So that's something that we as entrepreneurs try to do and involve our board at all stages. Now, coming to your question, how is this an opportunity for us and what can we really learn? See, India has always been the nation which is known for technology innovation, right? You talk about any of the companies, even major of the companies, they have Indian CEOs right now, even the tech companies. So for us, it's an opportunity because we know how to really work and build a product, maybe primarily not in the, let's say, which is a SaaS based, like what Dr. Kohli was mentioning about generative AI being independent and becoming a SaaS based product, but we know how to really service them. And that's something I believe as an Indian national, as a technologist, that is where our opportunity is, because we're good and we're known for, let's say, servicing clients. Now, when we go and start servicing clients, and that to the export market, we get a lot of primary data to really work with and start building a product which could really revolutionize in the near future. So, as said, India has already moved many folds when it comes to SaaS-based products, right? And now that is where I believe our energy, our focus on even servicing them really is playing a very crucial role. India has the biggest advantage is the data set. India has the biggest advantage in terms of the test bed. If our product is working for, these 1.4 billion people, I think that is a product which no other product can really beat. That is the scale and that is the advantage, that is the opportunity that we have. So all I can say is, AI, if it's suited for the Indian folks, the Indian nationals, the citizens of India, and it's really providing a lot of value, that means that is a product of the future which can really fit into any of the nations, Vineet. So that's where that is our biggest opportunity right now.
All right. Great thoughts, and thank you for that articulation, Anshul. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, your take on this advancing technology. In fact, it's advancing faster than we can predict. We have discussed the drawbacks of this ascent, but there are areas where India can definitely find scope and find a lot of scaling up to do.
Good evening, Vineet. I will disagree with most of what is being discussed here. The reason is because we are talking something and talking about something else. Let me clarify this. Because what we're talking as AI is not AI. What you're talking is analytics, data science, and the business related to that. There is no SaaS model in AI. Intelligence is independent of all these things. If the true practitioners who do the hands-on approach, they would understand what I am trying to say. And I've been in this for the last 2 decades. And we've been, just now I finished a consultancy for the defense forces. And then, the way that countries are progressing at a pace, like why US is wary about China is because China is far more powerful and we are not even aware of what they have done. Because we all, gaga over this OpenAI because that has just come out in the commercial front. But even for that, we have to understand that ChatGPT doesn't give you real-time inputs. It is, the cutoff mark is September 2021. It doesn't give you real-time data. Google Bard does attempt it, but Google Bard is nowhere near the scene, right? Because, it creates so much of errors. But the truth is, what is lying inside their lab has not been unleashed to the public. That's something that we need to understand. In fact, Sam Altman, 2 years back, went on to claim that the ChatGPT class of algorithms that they were training had started showing slight level of sentiency, and he was asked to be, silent. And there were, claims by 2 researchers from Google who also claimed a slight level of sentiency, and we are not even talking about all these things, right? So ChatGPT to me is just the tip of iceberg of AGI framework. And if you talk about AGI, it's a strict no-no. The Niti Aayog report, which was the National Strategy Report for AI, is published in 2019, only restrict itself to talking about ANI. And artificial narrow intelligence is not AI. We need to get that straight. And the moment you talk about AGI, people who are not conversant with it, the best they do is they don't want to talk about it. Now, living in denial, we have seen in the First World War what kind of problems it has caused for the countries which lost that war. Living in denial, what kind of problems it caused to the countries which was in the Second World War. This is a new beast of a different kind. We have to understand this technology is far more sinister than that we see. It's far more disastrous than the nuclear bomb. If the nuclear bomb, you put it as X, this is 1 billion times more powerful, because what you're talking about is cloning the most precious thing of nature, and that is intelligence. And what we need to understand is that ChatGPT class of algorithms is not the threat. The cognitive algorithms, which has not been still unleashed, which are very much in works in the lab, which are very much in China and in US, which has not been told. But remember, I'll tell you one thing, I'll give you one analogy. The stealth aircrafts were built as early as 1970s. But we all came to know something like that existed only in the 1990s. And therefore, in any kind of warfare, surprise is a major element. And these kind of technologies will be unleashed slowly. They will be unleashed steadily, and they are not revealed at the first instance. Coming back to what we are talking about, this Sam Altman's episode, let me tell you, we don't even know what happened, why it happened, and how it happened. We have to understand the valuation as on date of OpenAI is over 90 billion USD. Our country has not even committed 1 billion USD for a work on this. Because, last week I was on talk with, some of the bureaucrats and with the DRDO. They are all in open acceptance that the 1.5 crore kind of budgeting and the hackathons that we do can't even, fetch a sneeze in the AI domain. That is how much it costs. A simple GPU from NVIDIA or Tesla costs.
Okay. I think I saw Dr. Kohli wave his hand. He wants to come in. Dr. Kohli, do you have a counterpoint?
Yeah, Wing Commander Sudhakaran has a right to disagree. There is no stopping on the right to disagree. But I would like to disagree on that India has done nothing. As per him, India has hardly done anything. I don't know which bureaucrat or which minister has confided to him that we have done nothing, because here's an example sitting. I am mentoring some major, about 12 AI-based startups who are doing exceedingly well. There may not be government investment, but in the private sphere, there's a lot happening which I'm sure Wing Commander is not aware of. So my intervention was simply to inform him, not to intervene, but to inform, sir, that there is a lot going on in AI in Bangalore, Gurugram, Chennai. You go and visit these startups, and Anshul is already nodding his head, and I can see that because he knows. And there is so much happening in private space in AI that let's not talk about the government here. In the government, whatever he's saying may be true or maybe not true. But in the private space, it's a revolution happening silently. Vineet, is all I wanted to intervene.
Okay, let me also get Mithun Mohandas to weigh in on this. Mithun, if you're there with us.
Yeah, I'm there. So,
how do you respond? There, of course, we have distinct opinions when it comes to AI. Obviously, there are opinions that India hasn't done enough. But obviously, if it started from the United States, India will take some time to catch up.
So, the different things being talked about over here. Wing Commander Sudhakaran was talking about being at the forefront of AI research and all, and that requires a lot of investment. Indeed, $100 million was what Sam Altman said cost just to make GPT-4. That's the model that is the latest one that we are using, and it's not connected to the internet. But on the consumer side, wherein we are looking at application where every single person can use devices, the hardware for that is currently being made, and the very next year, we're going to see practically every smartphone. I'm talking about flagships, not the mid-level devices. They will have Qualcomm's latest chips, which have the ability to have a model on the device itself. Intel and AMD's processors, which practically power every single PC on the planet, they will also have the same capabilities of running models with different and good level of performance on the device itself. So if someone can come up with a wonderful application that can be run on the devices themselves, now is a wonderful opportunity. Doing that is not cost prohibitive, because what happens right now is you can get a model. It can be an open source model, or you can lease a model from one of the big giants, and you can fine tune it. Fine tuning it costs just $1 to $2 million. Sometimes a little more, depending on the kind of data sets that you're using and what kind of applications you're trying to make. If you're looking at that level of investment, yes, you can create something that can revolutionize. You can actually have applications across the board. That depends on a really good hot ticket idea. But if you're talking about AGI, currently, the public estimates are that AGI is 3 years away. And in the labs, we have no idea what's going on. And apparently, one of the reasons why Sam Altman supposedly was removed from the company was because the other board members disagreed in the direction that the company was going. When OpenAI was founded, it was supposed to be for the benefit of humanity, and therefore commercialization would take a backseat of sorts. But that was unfortunately not happening, and there was some communication breakdown between Sam Altman, the CEO, and the other members of the board, and which is why it just went into a completely different direction, and he was evicted. But the thing is, without that commercialization, OpenAI will not have enough revenues coming in to actually build what they want to. So it's like, you might call it evil, you might call it good, but both of them have to coexist for this venture to actually go forth. But if you're looking at what's happening in the labs in countries like China, we have no idea, because they are at the forefront right now. The number of AI papers put out by China is ridiculous. None of the other countries can compete. So if they're putting out that level of papers, research papers, and you can only estimate the kind of progress that they have made in every single sector. So the next biggest application could most probably come out of China because we have not matched in investment or in research the kind of resources that they've put down.
Dr. Kohli, how do you respond to that? Of course, once again, we are pivoted against China, and this time for artificial intelligence.
Well, personally speaking, Vineet, because it is somebody's information. If somebody says there's nothing happening here, or we can't match China, I think it is somebody's perspective. I mean, I don't want to challenge that, because all I want to say is that I have access to information where I can't name the companies here because it's confidential, but some of the major IT giants in India, they have invested heavily in AI. These are, in fact, some of the non-AI IT companies have also heavily invested on AI, and this is on record of IT Ministry also. Obviously, certain things are not on the table for you to read, but somebody who's got access to information, somebody who's personally been involved in such kind of deals, agreements, investments, how they have been applied, what kind of research has happened. There may not be a research paper on the table. I don't want to compare China with us. China is nowhere near us in terms of, there is no comparison, first of all. There is no comparison. Wing Commander Sudhakaran may like to have a good laugh on that, but I'm not a China bhakt for that matter. You want me to be a China bhakt and praise China, that we are nowhere near China. China is miles ahead of us. They are 10 times, 20 times. We can never reach China. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that on your channel. Whosoever is sitting with me, I'm definitely not going to accept that. But I know for sure that there's a lot which has happened on AI, and my co-panelists just need to be better informed. And I think Anshul will reconfirm that.
Anshul, want you to weigh in on this, and then of course we'll end with Wing Commander Sudhakaran.
So I think, I just have a slightly different opinion on this. All I'm saying is, see, India as a market is a very global market. Now, if I am talking from, let's say, an entrepreneur mindset, I don't look at, I am creating everything, from scratch. I want to really utilize what the research is being going on in the other parts of the world. Like, one of the markets that I really rely on is the Finnish market, the Nordics, right? And they are way ahead when it comes to research, when it comes to AI, or even for that matter, quantum, which they are doing right now. So I think for me, utilizing that information, as Dr. Sharad is saying, I have that access to the information that just gives me that confidence to really build something which can be scalable. So I come from a mindset that it's not about just India. We are in India. I would still call that as innovating in India, but I'm using that information. And as we proceed, there will be a lot of joint research will be done. And then subsequently, there'll be a lot of new papers which will be coming out of in India itself. So I think that is where I look at things. I look at, collaborating. I look at building something which has the meaning and a value to it. And that's where I want to really, look at what's happening in terms of whichever country is really leading, let's say, the research part of it.
Understood.
Right? Not talking about the development part of it.
Understood. Good point there. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, last minute to you, sir. We have run out of time.
For those who say that they are doing a lot in AI, what we need to understand is, I'll ask them what is the test for what you call it as AI, right? They wouldn't even know what is the test. Last year, 75 projects were unveiled in Vigyan Bhavan by the defense minister. I counted them on the floor there. Not a single project there unveiled by the Indian defense minister qualified the test for AI. That's point number one. Number two is, the highest military echelon, I had done a consultancy for them and submitted my report of what I've claimed here. I've given them in writing, right? Number two, I've also drafted the technology vision report for India 2047. I brought out the same points there, okay? Number three, I want to tell you that analytics, data science, business intelligence don't qualify for what is AI. Natural language processing, image processing, right? All these things are not AI at all. We are talking about something else. And that's where Dr. Kohli probably got confused, right? It's not about access to information or the investment or anything.
I'm not confused, sir.
Right?
I'm not confused.
Sir, I would
okay, let's not make it personal. Let's not make it personal. Let's not make it personal. All right?
Yeah, let's not make it personal. So what I'm trying to tell you is that investments don't decide technology. What happens inside the labs, and that to military level technologies, because these are far more sinister. That's what I'm trying to tell, right? What I'm trying to tell is the funds that Niti Aayog is, the NSCS is sitting is around 13,000 crores. Now the problem is they don't know how to disperse it, right? Because see, I personally run an AI company. I'm not an investor. I don't mentor companies. I'm invested in developing these technologies, and that's what QKH is all about, right? So, when we go there, we don't get funding of more than 10 crores. And that's what my precise point is, that with that kind of funding, you are not going to match up with a 90 billion kind of company and say India is doing a lot. What we are now struggling to tell the government policy makers is we need to invest far more. I've already brought out this a number of times, that the JERD ratio for India is somewhere around 0.7. It needs to go to 4%. And if it needs to go to 4%, we will need at least 1 lakh crores to be invested only in AI if we are really going to give a good run for money. And to tell you about China, China is invested into AI in 3 different ways. One is the traditional AI computing method, which the whole world is doing. The second is the brain-inspired AI development. And the third is the brain-integrated AI development. We are not even talking any of these things.
All right, we've run out of time. I appreciate your thoughts, but we've run out of time, so I appreciate everybody joining us on this important yet incisive debate.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.